head to book in hand, and we help authors of all kinds get their message and their mission into print. And I'm here today with Robert Lunte from CourseCREEK, and he's going to be talking to us about how to take your book and make it an online course. Thanks for being with me today, Robert.
Oh, it is super great to be here with you, Arlyn, and it's exciting that we finally put our schedules together and we're able to make this work. But
it took a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, it's such an important topic and really an exciting topic. So I'm super jazzed about this.
It is. I'm really jazzed too. And as I mentioned, you know, we have authors of all kinds from all walks of life, many different fields, different countries, mostly around the United States, but we've also had authors around the world. But one thing they have in common is they all have an important mission or message or sometimes ministry to get out into the world and information that they need to get out there. So could you give me a little bit of background? One of the things that I think is really great about you is that you are an author and then you are also an online course creator. So you have a multiple of perspectives that you can give to this. So just tell us a little bit about who you are, your background, what you've done, and yeah, then we'll go from there.
Okay. Long story short as possible, I spent 25 years in Seattle, Washington, building an international school for singers. So in another life, I'm a voice coach. Okay. But unlike a lot of voice coaches that are only selling their time and doing one-on-one lessons, which by the way, I've done a lot of that, believe me, the voice coaching business manifests itself in terms of online courses and this big beefy book that I wrote. So that was a success. Been toured around the world and helped people learn how to train to become better singers. And but towards the latter part of the 25 years I'm referring to, I started getting tired, started getting a little confused about a few things about, you know, why the profession that I had early on that I loved so much was becoming the thing that was making me frustrated in some regards. Through a lot of soul searching, I realized that it didn't lack scalability. It didn't have scalability, right? The ability to scale as a teacher, right? So I dove in, created some online courses. They were a success. Just simply monetize the information in this book and up here. And they had a certain level of success, did several of them. Then I started helping my friends to build online courses, which initially were other voice coaches, but now it's into people from coaches of any walk of life. And then I launched CourseCREEK when I felt like I had sort of figured out how to do something else other than teach people how to sing.
That's great. That's a remarkable story. So how has that affected the reach of this book? And I have a copy right here. This is no small feat, and you did a great job of this book. I'm just really interested in how did this take your business to the next level? What were some of the things that happened to you after you launched the courses?
Yeah, okay. So for me, the course and the book sort of came together more or less, not in an ideal, perfect way, but they sort of came together. How did it change my life? Well, if you're a teacher, if you have somebody, or if you have something that to a mission or something to teach or something that you want to impart on others to change their lives, from a practical perspective, you need a product. You need a product. And these days, having a book is fantastic. It's quite lovely. People still love having a book in their hands.
Absolutely.
Right? Like there's a certain aesthetic to it. There's a certain a tradition to it, so to speak. There's something about reading.
Something timeless to it,
yes. Timeless, printed paper on wood. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing just in itself. However, these days, to really get massive exposure, instant international exposure, to augment your authority in your space, to complement your book, to get passive income, to have something available that's engaging for people 24/7, it's almost critical that you do something in a digital format. So for me, long story short, it radically changed my life.
Yeah. Well, I think that's great. So what I want to do is I want to kind of unpack what might be involved for an author to start thinking about creating online courses for their books. Now, you and I were introduced through a mutual friend and colleague, and I'm very grateful for that introduction. And I had actually started to put together an online course through a popular online site. And I thought, oh gosh, I can do this myself. You know, I've put together curriculum. That's part of my background. So I did. I started kind of uploading my courses and really got stuck. And I was in that stuck place when you and I were introduced. And I realize now, after seeing just the robust nature of what you have accomplished and what you have to offer, that it was just like, I don't know what the comparison is. I was playing tiddlywinks because I just didn't know what I was doing. So can you tell maybe 2 or 3 or 4 things that if an author like myself or anyone else, any of my authors or any other authors out there watching this, could you tell us 2 or 3 things that we need to start thinking about or putting in place in order to accomplish this or to work with you?
Yeah, great question. The first thing would be that when you finally get around to committing to monetizing your ideas or the ideas in your book to an online course, you have to. I want viewers to realize that there's a lot to it. There's it's not just I'm gonna do voiceovers on PowerPoint slides and turn them into a file and upload them. By the way, we get a lot of that at CourseCREEK, and when we do, you can't use it. Voiceovers on PowerPoint slides, people think that's okay. It's actually considered to be not the way to do it. It's considered to be cheap, and you won't get good reviews, you won't get sales. So you need somebody that understands how to take the ideas up here and the ideas in your book, and translate them into a format that can be produced on video. Generally speaking, online courses aren't only video all the time, but it's safe to say it's mostly video with complementary PDFs and quizzes and other things going on. Now, to make an online course, one thing that makes online courses different than the book is in a course, you have to have a strategy early on that we help our clients put on a storyboard that helps the students go through a transformation. So you have to understand clear that transformation that they need to go through at the end of each module and indeed at the end of each course. That much is probably familiar with your clients. But then how? If you're not written word on a page, well, you do that with talking head content, like sort of what we're doing today. That's one way. Another way is we use a technology called Articulate 360, which is like a slide that's multimedia. It has bells and whistles and buttons and things on it, and it has embedded video. Super cool. Another thing you can do is animations for storytelling, voiceover and animations. So I'm in the weeds. My apologies a little bit.
No, that's okay, because it brings up some other good questions. Like when you talk about voiceovers, you talk about animations. Are these things that you provide for the clients? Do we have to come up with that stuff ourselves?
No, you don't have to, and you should, and you really should leave that up to the professionals. I think that was really what I was driving at. You need proper instructional design. You need somebody to take a look at the book and with experience and have them help you translate it into a curriculum and into a storyboard, and then use those formats that I mentioned earlier. So make sure you outsource some professionals. That would be one thing. 2, get ready to work. Get ready to put all your effort and all your energy up front. It's sort of like making a movie, making an album. It's a creative endeavor. You sort of put all your sweat equity up front, and then you publish and you release. And if it's a good idea and it's marketed properly, it can change your life. But be prepared to go to work. It's get in front of the camera and making movies isn't super easy. But that's okay. Once it's done, it lives on 24/7 all the time.
So here's a question. So you are good on camera. That is your background. You've been in show business. You are a talented performer as well as a coach and an author. Well played. But it does come easy for you. What about authors who are shy behind the camera or not confident? What what do you suggest, or what can you say to those authors who are kind of don't want to do that?
I don't want to sound like I'm sort of only selling our service, but there is on-camera coaching available when clients work with us. So that does happen to be my wheelhouse. So yes. we will work with a client on camera on Zoom calls and teach them how to speak to the camera, how to teach to the camera, and how to plan that lesson with a particular effective formula. So once you get a little bit of practice and some training and techniques behind it, it actually rolls out and it turns out to be not so bad. Just like anything, you just need some techniques and you need to practice.
That's comforting. And I don't feel bad about you selling your services a little bit, because people who are watching this, they want to know what you provide. It's going to help them, even if they do go out and look elsewhere. Actually, I don't even know anybody who does exactly what you do, but say there is, I want to be able to compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges. And so knowing that you're going to help me be comfortable on the camera, as well as facilitate the mechanics of putting this course together, I think that's really great. I think that's really important.
Yeah, we will, because talking head content is, even if you do some of the other stuff we talked about, every course needs at least a little bit of talking head content. It's super important. And people without experience on the camera, it tends to be a bit amateurish. The lighting isn't right. The audio isn't right. The laundry room is in the background. The sort of silly things. But after about 4 or 5 sessions, we clean all that up, and they're looking great. They're looking smart on camera.
So just out of curiosity, your book, as I showed your book, it's pretty meaty. How many courses have you parlayed out of that one book? So is it just one course, one book, or if you have a book, are there multiple courses that you could expect to create?
There's currently about 9 to 10 courses that have been inspired or pulled out of this book.
Well done.
Here's the kicker that your viewers may not realize, but it's an aha moment. 3 of them are my courses. Another 3 of them are from other voice coaches, friends of mine, that read the book and used the techniques inside and created courses from the techniques that we're partnered on. Those are in English. The other remaining 4, same idea, other voice coaches using the techniques and interpreting it in their way on camera in Italian, German, French, and Hindi. So you didn't expect that answer, didn't you? I mean, for me personally, that was the answer you were looking for, about 3 or 4. But other people that read the book, if they want to make an online course, can do so. And it's a partnering opportunity for your authors.
That's incredible. Wow, that's neat. So, I mean, let's talk a little bit about the nuts and bolts. And you probably can't use exact numbers, but I know that I have clients that are going to be saying, okay, is this going to be cost effective? What kind of return can I expect on this investment? Because there's going to be an investment to do it well. And what kind of return on our investment might we expect on something like this?
Well, you want to make sure that your idea is marketable. And so one thing I would say in regards to ensuring that there's a demand for the idea to your authors, don't get completely fixated on the exact message in your book. The exact message in your book may in fact be great for an online course. That's certainly possible. But there are some ideas and content written on the written page that don't translate perfectly to a high demand idea in a course. So in our instructional design phase that we work with, when we work with our clients, what we would do, that's one of the things that we would do, is we say, okay, you have a book that's sort of teaching this concept. Let's stay in the same ethos. Let's stay in the same concept. Let's stay in the same level of expertise, but let's just tweak it a little bit, tweak the message a little bit, maybe tweak the transformation at the end just a touch, so that you have something that's a little bit more in demand. So that's a consultation process. Now, from a practical perspective, we actually have tools where you can put a course idea into a piece of software that runs an algorithm, and it searches all the amount of times that somebody has asked for that particular topic.
Okay.
And what the sales results have been for other courses in that topic. We have a tool that will do this around the world, and it's not perfect science, but it does give our clients the ability to sort of refine that idea, and to make sure we sort of hit on something that has some data behind it that shows that it's going to sell, because we certainly want it to sell. And the last thing that I would say, last thing I would say, once we have the course up and running, you have to market the thing. You have to have a CD release party. So in CourseCREEK's customer journey, we have 4 phases. The 4th phase is the phase where we help you to drive traffic to your course, to the funnels. And we do that with launch campaigns, which is sort of like a CD release party. You have this new product, this new creative endeavor. You invite people to a live event. The author, new course creator, goes on camera for a few days, does a live training, and then opens the cart at the end of the live training, creates some urgency, creates some fun, and they get a big windfall sales moment. That's just one technique that we might put together.
I love it.
And just SEO and social media management and paid advertising campaigns, we can also help people.
So I just want to recap. So not only do you help do the storyboard, help envision what the course is going to be, you come alongside with helping with the content creation, essentially. If there need to be PowerPoints and animations, you help with that, the voiceovers. If there's coaching that needs to take place to help the author feel comfortable about being on camera, you do that. Then after the course is created, you help with launching, marketing, SEO. So really, like when I say my mission is idea in head to book in hand, yours is idea in hand to fully functioning out in the world, thriving course.
Yes, well said. We have CourseCREEK Consulting offers a do-it-all for you service. And we packaged that up into 4 phases. Phase 1 is an audit and a consultation phase where you meet our team in a group call, and they do a deep dive needs analysis and pull out all the things we need to know in order for you to achieve your goal and for your students to achieve your goal. Phase 2 is the phase we spent some time talking about. It's the creation phase where we write a storyboard for you, the curriculum, we refine your idea, and we determine whether it's going to be articulate 360 voiceovers, animations, and talking head. We put all that together, and it's created and produced. Phase 3 is the implementation. That's the heavy lifting. If you go with my journey here, your client would have assets. We call them assets, video files, PDFs, things that need to be deployed. Right. And we go out and we build the online course, the pages, the funnels, the email sequences, the course user interface itself, out on a learning management system, which is a specialized CMS system for courses. And then phase 4 is the launch campaign and the digital marketing to drive traffic. So that's everything. That's everything that's required. There's a lot to do. And going back to that first question, that's why you can't do it all by yourself. You have to outsource all that.
And you mentioned one of the vocabulary words that I've picked up on this journey, which is LMS, which is a learning management system.
Yeah.
And I kind of learned about that on accident last year during COVID, right when COVID hit. Universities were offering online courses for free, and Harvard was one of those. And so I took a course for free, and that was actually my first introduction to a learning management system. And it's kind of what started me thinking, wow, because I have a course that I was teaching in person on writing and refining your book for publication. And I had the thought, oh, wow, I could make this an online course. And I do intend to make that an online course with you. And I'm excited about that. So What have been some of the courses that you've done? Like, can you share with us some that have been maybe your favorites or that have a neat story attached to them or a success story? What comes to mind?
Sure. In terms of clients.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Other than my own courses.
And then your own. Yeah.
But in terms of clients, yeah, there's a few. I like to talk about Claire Gangadine. Claire Gangadine is from the UK, and she came to us with a need to get scalability and make an online course. We helped her deploy her thing. And Claire Gangadine provides sort of like a set of stretch, Pilates, yoga type workout routines for people that ride horses.
Interesting.
Right? That's a thing.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
It's a thing.
How to be healthy. And when you're riding your horse, and a lot of it's sort of around being thoughtful for the horse. Anyways, I never would have dreamed there was such a thing, but there is such a thing, and she's a professional at it. And we helped design her course. I gave her on-camera coaching, and now if you go out to ridersize.co.uk, you can see meet Claire Gangadine. We built her online course, and I always like to say with her course, early on when I was helping her with the on-camera, I was trying to tell her, hey, your on-camera stuff is getting better. It's looking great. It's fantastic, but we're missing something here. We're missing the star of the show. Well, what do you mean? I'm the star of the show. I'm looking good. I'm really like, no, you're not the star of the show. The star of the show is the horse.
Wow.
It's the horse, of course, And so I told her,
so great.
I'm in the weeds a bit here, but I told you, okay, what, when we get back together in a week from now, what I want to see is I want to see some footage of you riding up in the horse and then giving it a kick and riding away into the sunset on the horse. We need to get the horse inside the videos. So that's
such a key part of her whole of the work she does.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, you have to have the horse in there.
Yeah. That's
great. What kind of course producer would I be if I didn't bring in the horse? All right. So we have people that do sort of corporate culture transformations. They've gone into companies, butts in seats, had a training program, COVID hit them, and then that's not as available. And even if it was, they sort of realized from that experience they need to create an online course to back up or complement what they're doing if they are going to get on planes and start going into companies again. So corporate culture transformation. We have another client currently who's about ready to deploy, who's building a course that helps millennials prepare for job interviews and sort of graduates to get into the workforce. That's interesting.
Okay.
We have a fellow that's a hotshot mortgage loan specialist who's also a financial advisor. He's making an online course. And we have 2 relationship therapists making online courses. And let's see, just a day ago, I'm excited about this. Just one day ago, we brought in a new client who's a wine expert.
Wow.
So she educates the industry, not consumers so much, but the industry, like wine experts and restaurateurs and distributors on health elements regarding wine. And all I can say is my creative designer is going to have a blast with that.
So many possibilities.
It's everybody. It's everybody.
I'm having the thought that someone doesn't have to have a book. Like, I'm very book specific. Inspire Literary Solutions exists to help people make books. But I can imagine that there are people who don't necessarily have a book that might be ready for their course before they're ready for their book. Is that maybe the platform that they build through their courses could be the foundation then for a book? Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, you absolutely do not have to have a book.
Yeah.
Most course creators do not have a book. But those that do have a book, that's even better, because the book will cross-promote the course and the course will cross-promote the book. They work well together from a marketing perspective. And apart from the fact what we already sort of talked about, which is if you have a book, your curriculum for not 8 courses, by the way, 50 courses is already in here. You can take one chapter and turn it into a course.
Yeah.
If you go deep and expand on it.
Yes.
So my message to your clients or people that have books is you're even a better candidate for an online course because you've got ideas. They're already captured. You're already on second base.
Yeah.
And they work well together.
Yeah. I know for me, I have a couple of books published myself. Do I have one here? One of them. This is Parenting for the Launch, Raising Teens to Succeed in the Real World.
Oh, yeah, right.
Arlyn's copy, because this is the one I make notes in. But you can see my name on there. Yeah. And when I'm speaking on this topic, I have a couple other books too that I've written. I do tend to take a chapter and then that's the topic of my talk. So what you're saying is I could potentially turn this into a course for parenting and make it an online course. I'm kind of excited about that idea too. So, yeah.
Every book, it's not the only way to do this, but it's certainly one obvious way to do it is each chapter in your book, if you wanted to mirror your book,
right,
can be a module.
Yes, totally makes sense.
Inside the module are individual lessons, right? So we've done that on occasion. Or each chapter could be a separate mini course.
Right.
So I've got, I mean, this actually is one big course and it's absolutely huge. It's 24 hours of course content. It's ginormous. I'm not necessarily recommending that, but that's an example of one big course sort of complementing one big book. But if I wanted to, and strategically, there might even be a better idea, would be to go in for my own book and each chapter is a different course. Yes. So when you ask me the question about how many courses that I get out of this, I wanted to add to that. Yeah, I've pulled about 8 or 10 courses out of this through other people, but truthfully, there's 20 courses in here because each topic I could go deep on.
Yep, I'm recognizing that. You know, the other thing that comes to mind is I have authors who don't necessarily have a course, but they want to sell their books. So I could see how this could potentially meet their objective of selling books by offering small mini courses. Like we don't necessarily need to do the huge bells and whistles, huge course. We could potentially do some mini courses that would promote the book. Does that sound
great? You're right on point, Arlyn. You're absolutely right about that. Oftentimes, and perhaps in this moment, people watching this video might be thinking, yeah, I get it. It's a great idea, this and that, but oh my goodness, I don't have the time or the energy or the will to put that much sweat equity into creating something. Perhaps that might be a deterrent. I'm here to tell you, she's right. Arlyn's right. You can just do a 10 video or 20 video, what we call a mini course. And mini courses is a thing. It's something we consult and we talk about all the time. Our clients, the ones I just mentioned, all have done a mini course. Now the mini course, they've done a mini course plus a big course. They don't have to do it that way. Most have taken that strategy. So we advise oftentimes that you're making 2 courses, a mini course, an entry-level course, and a full course. Now, the mini course is used as a lead generation course that takes people to the book, to the full course, to the speaking event, to the consulting, to the other services. So all the benefits of the distribution and getting out to so many different people and letting people get to know who you are, all can be achieved through something with comparatively less effort. 10 videos, if it's really great and hits on a point and gives somebody something useful and a takeaway, just enough to get to know you, just enough to get a feel for you, is a great idea. We do entry level mini courses all day long at CourseCREEK. Yeah.
Sort of related to that, still thinking about selling books, because, in this day and age, there's a lot of competition, and it's very difficult to sell books. You really need to put yourself and get your book out there and find some creative ways to get them in front of people. And so one thought I've got as I'm listening to you is, okay, so if I create a mini course for my book that requires my book as a text for my course, people who are, looking on sites looking for courses, and they see my book, they see my course, and they say, yeah, I want to learn, say it's the parenting book. They say, yes, I want to develop a better relationship with my teen, or I want to learn communication skills with my teen. They'll take a quick course on improving your communication with your teen, required reading, this book. So I can think of many, if not most, of my authors could benefit from something like that.
It's a no-brainer. If your book has, exercises in it,
yes.
Things to fill out, journals, exercises, go try this and come back, right? Homework assignments inside the book.
Yeah.
Then that's what the course can refer to.
Yes.
So you get the advantage of talking head. By the way, making a personal connection on video with the people that are purchasing, which is nice as well.
Yes.
So that's all happening. They're getting additional benefit, and video just communicates so well and so effectively. Yeah. But at the end of a particular module or lesson, you can say, okay, great. Now we're going to stop here. Click the link here, go and go out to the ebook or grab the book that you purchase and turn to page 82 and fill out the work page. And then when you're done with that, come back and start module 3.
Yeah. Yeah. And even with the online class that I did with Harvard last year, I had to go on Amazon and buy textbooks that went with that course. So it was a free course.
Yeah.
But I had to buy the books to go with it.
Yeah. When we do that, we call it blended learning.
Okay.
So if it's only a course with video content, we call it self-paced learning.
Okay.
But more and more these days, we're doing blended learning solutions. So back in phase 2, when we're designing the curriculum with my instructional designers, there's a decision that's been made to make it a blended learning experience, meaning the student engages in the video online course content and experience, but then at some point stops and pivots to the book, the download, or even live group calls.
Yeah. So that's a good point when you talk about like a live group call. So one of the things that I liked about the course that I took, the LMS, the Learning Management System, was that it allowed people literally from around the world to interact around this topic and what they were learning. Is that something that we could expect or be able to create with our online courses?
Say again, Arlyn.
So is it possible in a learning management system to be able to have participants give feedback and to interact with each other?
Yes. All of the learning management systems, and just for those that might be sort of lost on that a little bit, LMS, it just means a website that's special, that can take online courses, that can do the sort of things we're talking about. That's all. So all of the hot shot LMS systems that CourseCREEK works on that we would recommend, all of them include a bolt-on community. So in my big singing course, which happens to be on an LMS called Kajabi, there's a community. So as the singing students are going through the curriculum, the self-paced stuff, at the end of certain stages, they're invited to go out to the community and do a peer review. So at the peer review, they post a picture of themselves singing or a file of them doing something. There's some sort of fun activity that they get involved in. They post it out to the community, and then the community gives them feedback, gives them, leaves comments. I jump in and leave comments when I can. So the way you do that is with a community. It's all integrated inside the systems, which is super nice.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So one group that I work with a lot, you and I have talked about this before because I have already introduced you to some of my clients.
Yeah.
My background before I started my own company was in Christian publishing. And still I have quite a few clients who are heads or part of Christian ministries who are teaching their materials around the world. And I can see this being a really great tool for them, especially people, whether they're in ministry or otherwise, who have been traveling historically as part of their ministry or their job and presenting in other parts of the country. I think of people who are speakers, teachers, leaders, missionaries around the world who all of a sudden, thanks to the pandemic, are not able to do that anymore or right now. So can you speak to that a little bit about how this could be a tool that would enable people who have historically done their presenting in person to be able to multiply themselves and get their teaching, get their materials out to their constituency around the world?
Well, yes, again, if it's in English, that's 885 million people around the world that can now get access to your course. And so it's sort of, once it's up and running, it's then on the marketing to bring people in so that they know where to go to get the course. But you can certainly go international very quickly. And the other thing, oftentimes coaches will say, yeah, but I need some live time. My students need to get in front of me live. They can't just be watching videos. Well, no problem. You can pivot and do paid access Zoom group calls. You can do that.
Oh, that's great.
Go back to the blended learning experience I just described. And it's still, but yeah, that's great. That's almost there. But I really need to be in the room with my people. I need to be in the room, or I need some sort of element to that. No problem. That's the quarterly retreat. That's the VIP retreat in Sun Valley 4 times a year.
Yeah. So I think this is really priceless. Basically, as long as your tribe has access to Wi-Fi or data to the internet, they can access your coursework.
Access your course. And there's another piece on that is pandemic or no pandemic. Planes, trains, and automobiles after many, many years can get tiring. A lot of my clients they're just like, yeah, I just don't want to travel I don't want to travel like I used to. I want to just be able to get it out to more people without doing that. And then the thought that comes to mind is, being that your tribe are all practicing Christians. I mean, isn't the point, a large part of the point, to share the word and get the word out? And isn't that sort of why? Yeah. Is that their why? Well,
really?
Well, get out there. Get that word.
Get it out there. Get it out there. I know. I'm so excited about all of the possibilities for this and for what you do. What you do is so valuable, and not enough people know that this is an option. Or if they do, they're like me. They maybe even try DIY and realize, oh my gosh, this is so far beyond what I can accomplish on my own. So just to know that you've had so much success. I mean, you are being very humble, and I honor you for that. But I know the success that you have had with this, and I know that your mission is to help other people scale their business or their ministry or whatever they're doing, and to be able to enjoy the fruit of it the way that you have. So I want to thank you for that, because there's a real, I think, humanitarian purpose to what you're doing, besides the great monetary reward that can be had as well. You can really, really help people by getting these kinds of materials out there. So thank you.
You're welcome. Indeed, I look back at a period of time in my life where I wasn't necessarily a super happy camper. I'd sort of alluded on it early on in our thing, and it was just basically only selling my time. Only selling my time with nothing else, with no scalability, not a product, not a strategy that can grow and scale. And it made me unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really true that CourseCREEK is in part something a way for me to help other coaches. When I get in front of other coaches and when they say, I need scalability, I'm tired of only selling my calendar and my time, I begin to feel for them quite a bit, and I want to help them solve that problem because I've felt that pain before.
I love that. So I want you to pretend right now that you have someone in front of you who has some kind of mission or message to get out there, and they are looking for ways to scale that mission or message. And you have so much to offer. What would you say to that person directly?
I would say that there's a lot about getting your message out in regards to online courses that you're not aware of, that my team and I are here to help you with. We'll do the entire thing for you every step of the way. And I can assure you that if we refine the idea, make sure that it's a marketable idea, that we ensure that the delivery of the content is engaging, entertaining, and informative, and we build the proper funnels with the proper copyright, the proper copy conversion, and the heavy lifting stuff, and market it properly, it will transform your life, and it will transform the lives of your customers and your students forever.
That's a great word. So if someone does want to connect with you, if you're one of my clients, you can get to Robert through the InspiraLit website, which is www.inspiralit.com, Inspira Literary Solutions. If you're someone out there who wants to write a book, I hope you will also look us up. But if you click on our services, you'll see online course creation, and there's a direct link. Robert, maybe you have other people who are not going through Inspira. Some of you, I know some of your constituency is live with us today. Hello. How can they reach you?
Well, you can go to our website, which is CourseCREEK.com. Course as an online course, creek as in a little river. Go to CourseCREEK.com. You'll see down in the bottom right corner a little CourseCREEK customer service bot. He's going to pop up and he'll ask you a few questions, but essentially what it does is it takes you to booking a Calendly meeting with me. So we'll have a meeting together, and you'll get to know me one-on-one, and we'll talk about your situation, your project, and your passions, and what we need to do, what it's going to take to get there. And I would be honored and grateful to meet you.
Great. Well, thank you so much for doing this with me today. I really, really appreciate it. And I look forward to working with you. And I wish you all the best in all of these amazing endeavors. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you for your show and your friendship. And I had a lot of fun.